Welcome back to the Lifeline podcast. And if you're not watching the 2026 NBL Finals, I do not know what you're doing, but the City Oil and Blazers have given us an absolute cinema. And by cinema, I mean it is crazy. It is just so electric, and emotions are seen here and there. But come, but
But I like where we are going with this, because how would I put it up? Everyone thinks and assumes Namongo is the better team,
yeah,
but having a game like what the City Oils have brought on, I think I would super credit the City Oilers, and mostly I would say the players are very intentional. They've really stepped up. How Titus performed in game one, it's getting better as they are going into depth of the finals, where we're seeing even better threes, blocks, and stuff like that, which he wasn't doing earlier on. We are seeing Bale actually even stepping up. The energy, that positive vibe within the players, leave alone the bench. Now just the guys on court.
starters.
Yeah, the starters. When you look at Banza, is really stepping into the space really
Yes.
well, and I would appreciate when you see players step up their game, regardless of what the bench dictates. You see that individual willingness to make things work in a certain way. Unlike right now with the Namongo
Namongo.
Blazers, where we all assume they are a better team, but there's a big load on Fataki that you realize is putting on, I think, 110.
I feel right now he's tired.
Is Yeah, basically I also
because
assume the same thing.
because if you talk about because I like the fact that both teams have an impact from foreign players,
Yeah, actually that's also
and
another good thing.
and from game one we could see that both teams. Okay, Namongo got the win, but
Yes.
the control was a little bit balanced. It
Yeah,
wasn't so like a blowout like City Oil was out of the game.
very
And
true.
coming back, because the talk was Namongo in full.
Yeah, and I know
Many
a
people
couple.
suspected Namongo to sweep the City
I
Oil.
think it wasn't even just a suspicion kind of thing. Right now City Oil is not, the league's favorite. There's a lot of people who are, fans of City Oil, but there's also even a bigger number who wouldn't wish them to win the championship. But
True.
putting all the emotions aside, game one, Rambat almost gave them 28 points. You get, unfortunately, they didn't have other double digits on the roster, but that's has kept on improving. You saw how game two happened. The play of the match was Komagum, of which people didn't really think he would do much, during the finals. That the Damongo is a stronger team, but he proved them otherwise. Of which I like it when players uh, keeping on keep on surpassing their expectations of the crowd and all that. And I also appreciate that he has stopped trying to prove the crowd that he can play the game, and he's focusing more on playing the game. You get,
Yeah.
and like in the first like semifinals, where he would make a free throw, then try to talk to the crowd and all that. I like the fact that he's locked in, and also, he had a lot of drama coming on.
Yeah, but him being locked in and doing what he's supposed to do, it's a very good thing,
A super good
despite the
thing.
fact that he's being underrated by the fans.
Yes,
But
very much.
there is also another player we saw in game two.
Yes.
Uh, there was a little bit of a rumble on the City Oil bench where we saw a player and the coach.
Yeah,
They were
actually,
exchanging
that thing
words.
was very funny, but like some people are trying to justify it that someone is putting in money and stuff like that. No, guys, when something is wrong, we shouldn't attach other factors to it. If something is wrong, we are trying to criticize it that it's not right, so that later in time, this is not something we need to be seeing often on the pitch. Because I was even wondering, how did he even come back on the next game on the bench? He's still in the
Yeah.
same position. Because if you, yes, people are talking about he has put in money, and it's true. And everyone respects the fact that managers are coming on, putting in the money, paying players, bringing foreign players, and they're having expectations. But that's basically locker room conversations. When we are trying to set up a precedent to the crowd and to the media and all that, and that's what we are seeing on court. I think such actions need to come with repercussions. But I don't know, nothing happened, and I was wondering, is it because it's Haji from City Oil and all that? Because I assume if a player even tried to do something like that, I think they wouldn't even play the next game, or there will be a repercussion to it. But it passes, and to give you evidence that such behavior shouldn't be allowed for any reason that we are playing sports. The same thing, we saw almost a confrontation between two managers of Namwongo and City Oil. That means there's a precedent they are setting that because Haji got comfortable the previous game and nothing happened, that means it's comfortable to have it again. Because when you look at the videos that are circulating on the media, it shows that he did that last game with the player. Now he's trying, he was trying to get into a confrontation with the Namongo Blazer, I think, manager. You get. So when you look at situations like that, we should have handled it better then. And I think this goes back to FUBA. Yes, their kids. I don't know. You know that story in the animal farm. Yeah, there are people who are important, but they're setting the precedent that there are people who are even more important
than
you
the
get.
rest.
Because some of those issues are supposed to be solved, like in the locker room, throw around things and all that, but out of the media, because we are protecting the game. We are not protecting a personality. You get. We are protecting the game, and to see the game going forward, there are things we shouldn't entertain. Because seeing him again on the bench and still having a situation that actually also still brings up the same situation. You get. The other time it was his player. This time he was getting
with the technical team of the other team.
It doesn't make sense at the end of the day. It's killing the sport.
But what does it have to? Should Namwongo be worried? Because we see in game 2 there is a little bit of a rumble. The bench is a little bit disorganized. The City Oil bench, they do not capitalize on that. And now even in game 3, they forced an overtime, which was actually it was a tight game.
It was a very tight game. Yeah, game 3 was really tight.
They forced an overtime. They still lost it. What do we have to expect from this? The defending champions?
I think there were very many windows Namongo should have used to capitalize on in regards on winning that game 3, but I think they didn't. That even I would say the coach noticed. Okay, not the coach. We noticed some things that were not working well, and we should have given confidence in other players. You get it?
So does that mean that the bench of the Namwongo is not as we suspected?
No,
because we see players getting like more playing time, but we suspected that the bench would actually come in and try and, because you see a player and you're like, oh, things are not working, try this. But the way we're seeing the series is like they don't have so many options.
To be honest, basketball is a funny game, and these guys are burning out. Remember, it was a back-to-back.
True.
Maybe we would see a different game on Friday, but coming from a back-to-back, the fatigue, the efficiency might be different. You get. So those are the points. Sometimes a guy would feel like he can play and he has the will to play, but in actual sense, the conversion is different. You don't look into that mindset that this guy always delivers. You need to know when the person is not giving you the kind of results you anticipate from them, and make the necessary changes. I looked at some of our players, not our players, but the players from the Namongo bench. The likes of Oxy, it reached a point, I think it was fatigue. And I was assuming at this point in time, with the couple of, I would call them, I think, turnovers, where they were seen, and you would see fatigue and being tired on his body and how he was reacting. Because we saw him in game 2 how he was playing. We saw him in game 1 how he was playing. This was the moment you give confidence to a player like Arthur Wanyoto to step into that space, not just for the moment, but in preparation that because Oxy is aging and he has played this game for quite some time, let him pick from what Oxy didn't do right in the moment and come and capitalize on that. And this is not going to come from anywhere else. It's going to come from the coach trusting him in those crucial moments to bring him in, to step into those shoes. Because those shoes will not be given to him. He needs to take it on. So those are some of the things that I would say on the Namongo bench. But again, for the City Oil bench, I love the fact that the players, like you would see individual choices on stepping up on the game. And that's from from falling back for defense, how they are playing their zone defense, how they are now. Remember, game one, Rambat was running most of the plays, but game two and game three, we come in a place where actually they are now trusting Bale and Banza to bring the ball. And the other thing I noticed also, these guys were running their 24 clock most of it, almost literally almost the entire game, which wasn't happening on the Namongo side. You get, we had those rush moments, but when you looked at how City Oil was executing their offenses, they were running their 24, and the change that the ball wasn't coming with Rambat because it was burning out. Now Bale would bring the ball, Banza would bring the ball, so that Rambat plays this other role. You get as a number two, and it really worked out. You saw some of the threes were coming off a pass, then take a three, and they were very comfortable threes. So when you look at those technicalities, at the end of the day, there are things we need to, appreciate about the game. The impact of foreign players, what they've brought. We've brought entertainment. We've seen Nyembo take a very hard shot in the last seconds of the game, and it actually converted. And also, same thing with Rambat. The issue of the 2.2 seconds came because he got the ball. They said couldn't manage, taking a couple of dribbles before the clock was done. A few people, different people gave their reviews, but after the back and forth, as you saw, we ended up having an over. No, was it? Yeah,
there was a foul call.
No, it wasn't a foul. The game ended and went for the overtime. Yes, we went for the overtime. So basically, there is a lot of feud going in there.
So with those controversies, what do we have to say on the official side? Because we have been seeing these things right from as long as when the playoffs started, and as long as we know that this is a matchup or something, we always find those things where officials are and the fans are getting involved, and it's really
very true.
It's happening so often.
So often. Yeah. Like any other basketball player who has been watching these things happening. To be honest, I think one of those guys who need to step out of the City Oil game. It should be Monday, because often the same calls, the same, like nothing is getting better. Basically, we are having the same situation coming from the same umpires, the same issues, because things which are obvious. There's a drive we saw Tony take on the baseline. Then he was fouled going up. Monday was there. I think it's called Brian, the other umpire, and Monday called for a side ball. But everyone was saying, and then we see Haji shouting at the official directly, and the official changes the call. You get so such inconsistencies, they've happened with Monday Baker so many times that it's a back-to-back kind of thing that is getting like nagging, that it's pushing us to a point that should we stop even watching games when he's officiating? You get, and remember game two, as you know, he delayed game two for almost an hour. You get, so when you look at those inconsistencies and there's no repercussions, that things happen. And I was actually from game two on Wednesday, and then we see him officiating game three on a Friday after all the things that happened before. It doesn't make sense at the end of the day. You get then me personally, I was seated in a position where I saw them not agreeing to what's going on. At one point, I think the umpire is called David. He was holding them, and I heard Monday shouting, "Don't hold me! Don't hold me! I have called! Don't hold me!" And these are things you could see in the body language. They were trying to not show this, but in reality, everyone could see. So why don't we have? This is a very sensitive time. People have invested time. People have invested money. That's why you're seeing managers, throwing tantrums and all that. So why don't we see a fair a fair